Hi everybody. So this is just a really quick video that goes over some of the things that we've already discussed in class, but it is specific to how I will be grading your first essay. So this is the essay that you'll be turning in on Saturday the 10th by midnight. Okay, so all right, so the first couple things, I have added 3 new documents up to files that will give you some basic information about what you need to be working on for this. So one of the things I've put up there is a simplified document that shows the same thing that this slideshow does, but it's organized in a way that people who prefer that over a slideshow can read it. It's basically to help you see what's going on. The next thing is this slideshow, of course, is uploaded up to files as well. And then the next thing is the copy of the rubric. And I'll be going over the rubric with you in a little bit, but I do want to go over some of the points. So, now, in this, we're going to start with the introduction. It's the first thing you wrote, and I'm sure you recall that I've told you before that I only want 4 sentences long. In fact, there's a specific order that I'm looking for in there. So basically, the first sentence, second sentence, third sentence, fourth sentence. We've gone over that now. There is a slideshow that you can watch on that, or you can go back and watch the video that deals with that order. Now, in the introduction, the thing that is the most important is your third sentence, which is the thesis sentence. So your thesis sentence makes a clear argument about how the role education has in overcoming racism, utilizing clear signal words or phrases like I believe or I argue. I really want you to use those clear signal words. So be specific in stating that you believe or that you argue. Or a phrase like that. Okay? So the next thing is you have to be precise in how the subject connects to you, and then next your introduction has to be logical and also clearly examines how to address the problems surrounding race, and then last, your introduction paragraph is only 4 sentences long. So next, this is the narration or the 2 paragraphs that you're going to be defining terms. Now, clearly you wrote 2 narration paragraphs that clearly define key terms from Anna Holmes' Variety Show and Andrew Cohen's Race and the Opioid Epidemic. This is where you're going to, get information. Now, obviously, neither one of those 2 essays clearly addresses the issue of education in the United States. But what they do is they give you a lot of the terminology that'll help you understand what you have to do to get education, to start addressing some of the problems within education. Now, the next one is the 2 quotes you picked are crucial to defining your key terms. And the next, your context and analysis correctly frames your quote or evidence so that the quote and evidence is not isolated from the topic sentence and thesis argument. And then last, the topic sentences, implication sentences, and transition frame the context and analysis sentences. So the paragraph is a unified part of your argument. Now, keep in mind, by this time you're already using keywords. There's a very specific keyword that you need to be using here. Now, your support paragraphs. Your support paragraphs are in a logical order that supports and reinforces your thesis and narration. Your analysis clearly explains your quotations. And then your context and quotation introductions powerfully explain your quotations' backstories and set them up for clear understanding. And then the implication sentences wrap the analysis back to the topic sentences, and your transitions conclude each paragraph and smoothly link to the next paragraph. Okay, so your conclusion restates your primary argument, showing the role education has in overcoming racism, and shows how you proved your argument is correct, utilizing clear signal words and phrases like to conclude. And your conclusion remaps your paper, summarizing what the narration and support paragraphs did. Now, your conclusion shows why your argument about how the problem surrounding race applies to yourself, and your conclusion expands to your larger world and also shows opportunities for further research. Now, where the term conclusion comes from, where you say to conclude, When you're using it in your paper, there's a specific place you should be using it. It shouldn't come at the beginning of your concluding paragraph. It needs to come kind of like in the third or fourth sentence of that paragraph. So it doesn't start at the beginning, starts somewhere in the middle. And then that way you kind of nest your conclusions in the middle. Remember how the paragraph is structured where the most important thing, the meat of your argument, has to appear in the middle of that paragraph. Well, it's the case here too. And so that's why when you say to conclude, it shouldn't state your primary argument at the very beginning of your conclusion paragraph, but it should state in the middle. Anyway, it's how you make a good paragraph. All right. Now your works cited page entry includes the author's name and also the book's title or article formatted correctly. The URLs and access dates in your works cited page are formatted correctly and placed correctly. Keep in mind, also keep in mind there are dates different in there as well. Now your works cited page is in alphabetical order, and your works cited page includes a minimum of 4 entries. Now I did make a video on this earlier, so if you have any questions about how this works, go back and watch that video. All right, and we come to now where we come to understanding how the prompt works. Now you use the keyword race in every paragraph and in most of the sentences. So this is really important. It's going to help unify your paper. Next, you wrote an essay that addresses the 2 key questions. How do we address the problems of race? And what role does education have in overcoming racism? You also wrote a 1,500-word paper, and you used a quote in every narration paragraph and support paragraph. Keep in mind, where it says 1,500 words, there's a little bit of leeway. So if you did 1,450 words or you did 1,600 words, that's fine. But if you go too much, that's a problem. And if you go too little, that's a problem. One of the things you have to learn how to do in a class like this is that you have to be able to write them up to the minimum, which is 1,500 words, or in the case of some writers like myself, this is a problem I have, where you have to keep your writing down to the minimum or close to the minimum. So when I say 1,500, I don't mean over 1,500. So those of you who want to give me like 2,000 words or 2,200 words, don't do it. Keep it down close to 1,500. So you'll lose points if you go too much, and you lose points if you write too little. Do you see what I'm saying? You've got to keep it at that 1,500. And so it's a challenge for both types of writers. All right. And then next in the proofreading, the in-text citations are correct. Keep in mind, you need to reference the Purdue OWL about how to do in-text citations correctly. And you also did not use vague pronouns like we, you, they, them, and one. You proofread your essay so few grammatical or stylistic errors appear, and your MLA information is correct. All right, so these are the things that I'm going to be looking at in your essay to make sure how it works properly. So like I said, I've uploaded this slideshow up to files. I included this document right here that has all the information in there. So for those of you who read better this way, I've provided this document for you. And then next, this right here is the actual rubric. So when I'm grading your paper, I'm going to be looking at certain things. And let me show you how it works. So let's look at the support paragraphs. Okay, this one category right here. So your support paragraphs are in a logical order that supports and reinforces your thesis and narration. But let's say I'm not satisfied with the order you gave, and I don't think you really thought through about the logic of your paper. So I could give you a B right there, okay? And then right here, I say, okay, but your analysis were great, so I'm going to give you an A. Context and quotation introductions work well, but not perfect, so like an A minus. And then the implication sentences wrap the analysis back to the topic sentences, and your transitions conclude your paragraph and smoothly link to the next paragraph. Now, it's a lot of work, so it's like wrapping everything together. But let's say your transitions are not so good, so I'll come over here and I'm going to give you a B minus. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do also for you is show you the areas that you have to work on the most. So I'm going to go and highlight the orange. That tells you in orange where you need more work. And then right here in green, I'm going to show you where you did great, and I'm really happy about what you did. Okay, so right here, this shows specifically how the rubric works. And so right here, you got an 89% on how your support paragraphs worked, and so for a total of 20 points. Well, that's 20% of your paper right there, just in that. So you need to work hard to make sure that you understand how all of this works. So like I said, I'm going to upload this document up to files so that you can have it to work with. All right. And so there you go. Those are the 3 documents that are uploaded in there. Now, there is a short quiz that I want you to take. It's only 5 questions long. It's not difficult, but it's basically to show that you're aware of how the rubric works. Okay? All right. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a very nice day. And good luck with your papers. I hope you guys do well. I'm looking forward to reading them. See you later. Bye.